So welcome to the episode 6 of the GenAI CIO. We promised we'll do episodes every week, one whole year, which is 54 episodes, and we are on week 6, so we're keeping the promise. Hope you're finding some really good updates in the generative, in the enterprise space, and that's what we want to bring further and further. So we continue to fine tune our, I would say, our research, and we bring you that will be more relevant to you as a CIO or VP of technology of your organization. So today, to begin with, the very first and a very big news is obviously New York Times filing a lawsuit against Microsoft and OpenAI both. So it's not just a few of us in the AI who are seeing that Microsoft and OpenAI are pretty close. Elon Musk says that as well, but New York Times also kind of say that as well. What's really funny here is, Rishabh, I mean, there has been a lot of, I mean, this comes right after Elon Musk's interview for New York Times, Andrew Sorkin, right? And it's quite, but I know that lawsuit cannot happen in a week or something. I think it's pretty clear that New York Times have been preparing for quite some time on this. Now let us look into what New York Times is actually claiming. So they are saying that the OpenAI, which is GPT models, are trained on millions of New York Times articles. And New York Times claims, hey, copyright, this is a copyright violation because you guys have you took our articles, you trained them, and now you're earning revenue because now OpenAI is not a non-profit company, right? They're a for-profit model. They're pretty close to $100 million ARR anyway. So they're saying like you guys are like earning from this whole thing, and hence it's a copyright violation. That's you've used it for model training and all of that, right? So that's the lawsuit, and Microsoft and OpenAI has been tight-lipped so far. They have not come out and shared anything at the time of recording this podcast. But there are a lot of voices in the AI space who've been sharing some viewpoints. And the one interesting that I liked was there is a claim that the scraping of data happened due to a broken paywall of New York Times. So it's not necessarily something to be blamed on OpenAI because they did not kind of break anything and took data. It was out in the internet because the paywall was broken, and hence this whole training could happen. So that is an argument put in by a person, just a general observer. But yeah, this is a very interesting space to watch. I mean, this will set precedents for how court and the legal is going to be looking at regulations. How will they look at large language models? How will they look at copyright violations? This will set precedents for many companies to kind of follow suit. You have Reddit, you have Craigslist, you have a lot of companies who have ton of data which might have been used. Take even medium.com. Even they could go and claim, hey, you know what, this is our platform and you've taken a lot of articles and you kind of trained on top. It's just, it could come from every other place. There are also some experts who give their opinion and say that this is not going to stand a chance. This is going to get quashed because at the time of OpenAI doing all this training on the data, there is no copyright law which prevents somebody from doing this, actually.
Exactly.
So that is why people say that legally this might not even stand in the court. So it's a very interesting thing. This is not going to be the end of ChatGPT. This is not going to be the end of large language models. I think that is already beyond everyone's control now with the open source LLMs available. But yeah, it's just I would say some disturbance in this whole larger scheme of things. But yeah, what do you think?
And before I probably dive a little deeper into it, I agree with you, Shiva, that yes, such claims have been made in the past as well. Like I think in June around that time frame, close to 4,000 writers had written a letter to Sam, right, stating that OpenAI has used their content for the initial models trainings, right. But this time, what has happened is one obviously is NY Times has gone and actually placed a lawsuit. But if you actually go through the actual lawsuit that they've put that they filed, right, and some excerpts from it. They've actually quoted the actual that Pulitzer Prize, winning news strategy that they
Yeah.
had done on New York Times Taxi. They've quoted it in verbatim from one of the Bing Chat responses, right? Uh, so it definitely poses some threats without giving any kind of credit to New York Times, right? So while obviously I agree with you, it's nothing new, but I do feel probably this might bring in
But
some amount of change. It doesn't threaten any of these models, but it might want to bring some amount of changes in terms of how they use content.
New York Times is not asking for credits, right? I mean, this is
Exactly.
just a violation. They're looking at damages here. It's there is not even a
It's
commercial model. Yeah.
That's and I want to draw some parallel. Obviously, it's a very different world like that I'm drawing parallel from. But what happened when Google started the search engine, right? And all these companies and Google was scraping data through across the web and so on and so forth. And eventually, they also mentioned that if you don't want your data to be scraped through, you just mention it in your base file, right? And Google will not go through that data. There was a lot of hoopla that was initially created. But obviously, eventually, these guys started understanding at that time that Google brings traffic, right, brings clicks to their websites and so on and so forth. But what's a little different with these models, right, is that they do leverage all this data, right, and intelligence on top of it. But then there's no backtracking that happens, right, backlinking that happens. Sorry, right. So it doesn't. These organizations, these websites don't get clicks or they don't get traffic generated through these Gen AI models, right? So while obviously that got settled very easily with Google search when it came into picture because they were getting benefits out of it. But how do they benefit out of the new scheme of things is something that will determine how the whole chain is written, right? But what is more interesting, and this is a question that I've been asked from my customer, right, in one of the meetings, Shiva, that the content that you're now generating, right, leveraging GPT-4 for my use case, right, who owns the copyright to that content?
No, OpenAI has made it very clear that they don't use the data for training, and they're not even using it for any model training or anything. So the content is owned by and it's the sole property of the customer actually. Period.
Exactly. Especially with the licenses that, or the API costs that they're bearing. That was our answer as well. But I think this definitely, and while I do agree with you, it will not lead to the or existential crisis of these LLMs. But this lawsuit definitely would lead to some kind of, regulation set around how the content is used, how copyrights are managed, and so on and so forth. And at
No,
least
I
I'm
agree.
looking forward for that to happen.
No, yeah, no. I think everyone is watching it closely. But it's going to take its own sweet time. By then, the AI would have moved even many years. Like every year, every month in AI is like moving many years ahead. So let's see what happens by the time this actually comes to the court for trial.
Absolutely. All right. From OpenAI and Microsoft getting sued to Microsoft now renovating the whole Bing chat platform, which they've relabeled as Copilot now. And there are a couple of updates that they've actually released, right? So one thing that the customers have been facing is that GPT-4 and GPT-4 Turbo is not, gelled together. So that's one
Yeah,
functionality that they want to give to their customers, which is now
okay.
the Bing chatbot will work with the Turbo with GPT-4 Turbo, right? So users will be able to use and leverage the increased accuracy, lesser costs as well, right, from Turbo side. But there are a couple of other updates also that they're bringing into the rebranded Bing chatbot as Copilot, right? One of the most interesting ones is how do they or how probably customers do the image search piece, right? So they've actually leveraged DALL-E for integration, but not only that, right? And this is something that's in test. They will start, releasing it for limited set of users as we move along. So the whole combination of the images getting searched to DALL-E, they are combining those results with the Bing image search and the web search, right? Before they actually give any kind of an output to the user. So it's kind of a three part output or or 3x accurate output that they're trying to give to the users, right? But another interesting update is, which they're trying to build into the rebranded Copilot, is on Microsoft Edge servers, users will be able to go onto a website and just select the content that they want to rewrite, right?
Okay.
Specifying the tone and how they want to rewrite that whole content and so on and so forth, even without pasting or writing that content in the chatbot, right? So that's another extension that they're trying to build, right? So all this obviously they are trying to build, but we'll see how this works out once this is released. The idea that Microsoft has it right now is to probably test it with a limited set of users before they actually open up for the larger public.
Oh, so it's not open for everyone, is it? Like I can't use it, is it?
So the turbo version will be able to, Shiva, but the other updates that I was sharing, which is selection on the Microsoft Edge, etc., they're going to test it. At least that's what I read on Microsoft's website. They're going to test it out with a certain set of users before they can actually release it for especially the image search piece.
God. Okay. No, it's good that finally they are ditching the Bing brand. Why would they use the a failed brand again and again? Google did a good thing by moving to Gemini.
Yeah.
They moved quickly away from Bard, sorry, and moved to Gemini, which is a good thing. Copilot, I'm not like. I know it's a very strategically good name because I think Microsoft's enterprise products have this Copilot feature built in, like GitHub Copilot and other things. So strategically, it could be right, but for customers, it could have been for the commercial use, it could have been some better name actually.
So
Anyway, that's my branding
one
opinion.
and just again my guess, Shiva, over here is that they're also trying to, and probably in the roadmap what I was reading is that they're trying to bring in code interpreter capabilities also within the Bing chat, the rebranded Bing chatbot itself. So one of the reasons why probably they might have rebranded this to Copilot is borrowing from what they originally had as Microsoft Copilot, right? And that's just an honest man's guess, right? But you're absolutely right. I think it's a more generic name. They could have given it something which is more, specific to what they're trying to achieve over here. Let's see if they rebrand it in future again.
All right. What's next?
Moving on to another good update from Microsoft. So Microsoft has been making news for good and bad reasons as always, right? But this time, what they've also done is they've actually contributed to the open source community, and this is something that all of us have struggled, right? When I say all of us, primarily the developers, people who are building use cases, especially, right? To have a standard evaluation framework for your LLMs, right? The use cases
Okay.
that you post on top of these LLMs, right? So what Microsoft has done is they've actually released PromptBench, which is an open source PyTorch based evaluation framework for LLMs, right? Now obviously how is it different from the other evaluation frameworks that are available in the market, right? Now, one obviously is that this allows you to evaluate specific data set, specific use cases, right, that you built on top of LLMs as a four-step framework, right? Now, while primarily I'll just briefly explain, Shiva, how the framework or what are the four steps. So one obviously is allows you to define the whole model itself, right? What are the tasks that the model is going to do? The use case is going to be built. But second is it also allows you to integrate with the data set, right, for your evaluation, right? You can then go and define exact prompts that you actually want to go to use to evaluate the whole model, right? And then finally integrate different sets. So if you even have different sets of models that are actually contributing into that use case, just go and integrate these different LLMs into the pipeline, right? Or foundation models into the pipeline, right? It's available on GitHub for everyone to use, right? I've heard, again, based on the communities, I've heard some good reviews about this. The biggest and the most important update that people have shared on different communities is that the ease of use. So what they've actually done is they've created simple classes right across, and you can just go and integrate. So just to give an example, the dataset integration happens through a simple API integration. Like you don't have to define the endpoints. You can do multiple datasets integrations and so on. So it's ease of use that people are really appreciating right now. And yeah.
No, it is actually. I was just going through as you speak. Uh, I mean, I at least know 5 to 6 startups who've been doing this, including some really good Y Combinator companies who've been doing this as a product. This is obviously disrupting a lot of
Yeah.
things. There are rumors that even Meta is going to be launching something similar as well. Oh my God, yeah. So we see this right with OpenAI launching new things. They kill a bunch of wrapper companies. With Microsoft launching this, they're going after these I would say LLM management or LLM ops companies, prompt testing companies. It's very interesting.
It's, I think, and this is something that you and I have discussed in the past, in one of the past podcasts as well, right? The whole how companies are now, making inroads to the open source world, right? And while we'll discuss this in our next podcast, Apple itself has now launched something in the open source world on GenAI, right? Which is like very unlike Apple, right? At least as far as my knowledge goes, they've not really contributed well to the open source world. That's something that has never come out of their doors. So I think the most interesting space in the GenAI has been the open source world. We spoke about Llama under the Purple project launching Llama Guard. Right now, Microsoft coming up with PromptBench for evaluation. Right, so it's a very interesting world to probably look out for, especially in the open source side. Right?
It's a good idea for a lot of companies, including us. We can just build a really good GUI on top of my open source prompt bench, and you will have a really good product with which a lot of people could use actually, right? Where you can go and select the task. For example, okay, I want to do say a multitask knowledge base. Okay, that is a task, and model would be I want to build it on GPT-4, and then the prompt engineering I want to do chain of thought. And so if I do all of it, then I'll be able to after this enter these conditions, I'll be able to see the result and see how it's benchmarked against multiple models, against GPT-4, Llama 2, Google's Gemini. This is all you need is a really good GUI on top,
Yeah.
which is nice. It's a nice thing Microsoft is doing actually. Okay.
Agreed.
Moving on, and again, purely sticking to the enterprise theme, we have a news from Accenture and Google Cloud launching their Gen AI Center of Excellence. Rishabh, you and I, we worked at LTI for 3 years. We've seen that Accenture always is kind of a trendsetter. They lead the pack, and in terms of thinking, in terms of the strategy. So again, it's just matter of time until everyone launched, and I think most of them have launched or in the process of launching. But this is big. Accenture partnering with Google Cloud to launch a Center of Excellence right on the heels of Gemini's launch is really big. It goes to show what Thomas Kurian is trying to do continuously in the AI space. There is a widespread, obviously, opinion that Google lost the cloud race, and they're trying to catch up. And the opinion now goes into the AI side as well, that Google is losing the AI race and they're trying to catch up. But at least with respect to launching models, they are probably ahead of AWS that way. So Google has something native. I spoke to the generative AI head of a very large healthcare company recently, last week, and they said, look, this Gemini thing is fantastic because now Google has everything full stack within Google Cloud. They don't have to go to, even at least in Amazon case, we have to go to Anthropic, though it runs on Bedrock. So Google has everything in place. The problem has been to getting them to really work the way it's supposed to work. But this is interesting. Accenture's Center of Excellence will help customers do rapid AI prototyping. It'll help them identify use cases on which they could do integrations. This is pretty good, and also the AI application scaling, which is where the LLM ops comes in. I think many other companies are going to follow suit. But kudos to Google to get this going. Yeah.
No, absolutely, Shiva. You rightly mentioned that to a certain extent, a lot of these enterprises have built centers of excellence, right? And you know that which as I'm speaking about, we are speaking to them about collaboration for helping them building their center of excellence, right? My only 2 cents on this primarily, and we've seen this happen in the past, right? That a lot of these, and especially as you rightly mentioned, Accenture has been a trendsetter in a lot of things. We've seen that in the cloud world in our previous stint. Now, My only hunch over here is that when probably companies go all in probably with one of these hyperscalers, right? Especially what's happening with Google right now, when customers come in, a lot of these decisions are customer oriented, right? Customers want to see these technology partners or technology leaders as independent technology advisors, right? My
Yeah.
only hunch and what I've seen in the past is when they go all out with one hyperscaler, customers stop seeing them as a independent or the right technology solutions provider, right? So while it's a good update, definitely,
Like a
but I
like a
would be very interested
bias.
to see. Yeah,
Like a
but I'd be
bias.
very and I obviously, I mean, all kudos to Accenture. I'm pretty sure that they would have a strategy in place, right? How they're going to tackle that bias. But yeah, what I'd want to say is how the center of excellence approach expands across and becomes more technology agnostic.
No, they will do. No, I would say like we've seen that in the cloud world. So Accenture will most probably launch another center of excellence partnering with Microsoft, another one partnering with AWS, and by then if OpenAI becomes even bigger, then launch one with OpenAI.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. Like how we saw big SIs launching center of excellence with multiple cloud platforms, with Oracle, with IBM's of the world. They'll do the same here as well, most
Correct.
probably.
Hopefully.
Okay.
All right. From Google coming back to Amazon, right, Shiva, and I always say this with love. While they were a little late in the game, right? Obviously, Bedrock took its own sweet time, but I still feel it's a strong managed platform. We've done a lot of implementations, but what they've now done is, and we just spoke about Llama Purple project last week, right? Where they've actually launched Llama
Yeah.
Guard,
Yeah.
right?
Purple
Which
Llama.
is correct, right? Which is primarily a like it's kind of an input and output controller for a lot of these LLMs that Meta has launched again as open source, which is now available on SageMaker, right? Amazon SageMaker, right? Now the advantage obviously that you get is that it can now, so a lot of our users. Amazon has a repository which they run on JumpStart, right? It has close to hundreds of ML models. You have benchmark or base Python code that you can actually leverage out of the box. We have a product that actually leverages JumpStart models out of the box, and we've seen a lot of success around it. So now the advantage that users get is that they can use any of these models that are available on Amazon SageMaker JumpStart, right, a repo, to work alongside Llama Guard, right? Which means that you have a model, you have a set of Python code that actually brings in intelligence around, but at the same time, you can now bring in the risk assessment capabilities in your LLM as well on Jumpstart, right? So good update, Shiva. We are yet to try it out, obviously, but I think my only 2 points over here is the amount of support or managed services that AWS is now bringing it to its customers, but at the same time that the support that they're actually giving to their partners as well. I'm just speaking about our experience, the amount of support in terms of funding that we've been able to receive to a lot of our customers and extend to a lot of our customers. We just held a startup, right, a very early age startup built their product end to end that was funded by AWS up to the extent of close to 75
That's nice.
dollars, right? Uh,
$75,000. Nice. That's
Exactly,
nice.
right. So and I mean, although I know this podcast is not supposed to focus towards sales, but just anyone who's really interested, right? In you have a good idea, you feel that it's going to work out. Do contact us, and we can definitely get some support from AWS to help you build that MVP, right? I've not seen any of these partners give that level of support, right? So just on the side note, Shivam.
That's something that AWS is doing really really well, and lot of entrepreneurs, founders, they do not know about this program that is available through partners. So again, yeah, anyone who's out there trying to validate an idea, trying to build a product, reach out to Rishabh. He would get you the initial seed money that you want in the form of AWS funding from their generative AI program. We are here to help to see you get started. Who knows? I mean, you could be building the next OpenAI, to be honest.
Absolutely agreed. All
And
right.
last up, very big. I was always wondering why it's not happening. Why NVIDIA is not launching their own AWS equivalent at some point in time, and now we have it up and running, right? in slightly in different consumption format, but still fantastic. So NVIDIA launched NeMo, which is a language model retriever kind of an engine for integrating with enterprise applications seamlessly. So what does it mean? NVIDIA gives hosted LLMs which you can just integrate with your models directly, with your applications directly. So instead of GPT-4 API, you can have a Llama 2, you can have other models, but now coming from NVIDIA themselves, which is what NeMo primarily does. Now, on top of this model, I mean, this LLMs that you get, which are regular LLMs like Mistral, all the open source models are available through this. You can obviously apply RAG on top of it, and then you can continue the way how you will operate with GPT. So Perplexity is another company who launched recently their APIs for all these open source models. NVIDIA has now launched. Now, in NVIDIA, you can subscribe through AWS Marketplace or the Azure Marketplace. But the fact that it's coming from NVIDIA has kind of piqued curiosity among a lot of enterprise companies. I can definitely see that this space is getting pretty wild as well. Like more and more companies hosting models, giving these models in the form of APIs for consumers to consume. What would be really good is, I think, Rishabh, something that we've been speaking on the GoML side, right? Which is to not just launch, say, general purpose LLMs, but launch more of industry
Exactly.
focused language models. Not necessarily large language models, could also be small language models. But the idea is to focus, like have real fine-tuned use cases actually. I think we are not pretty far from that thing as well. I mean, pretty soon the Perplexities, the Nvidias, and all the other companies, even Amazons, will start probably doing it. This takes me to a question which you might have to find answer from your AWS files. Why is AWS not launching this yet? Why is AWS not giving an option of 100 plus LLMs which Hugging Face provides? That's a question that I have, because then AWS, that could be a fantastic strategy for AWS to help customers build things internally instead of going to third party APIs. That's a question that I do have. I'm pretty sure they might be working on this,
Yep.
but yeah,
So,
that's
well, obviously, Shiva, I think AWS is the right answer, and I'm definitely going to go and pose this question to them. But I think my
should.
initial, hunch on this, Shiva, is one. Obviously, is so if you look at the whole ML scenario, they've done that on JumpStart. You've got these hundreds of models that you can actually leverage, right? So definitely, it would be in their roadmap to do that, do the same thing on Bedrock as well, right? One I feel is it's a little young offering for them, right, which they're trying to perfect. But just take into consideration whatever is available on Bedrock today, right? Be it Cloud, be it Stability, right? Be it the Titan models, be it Llama 2. They've perfected it well, right? So while it's a limited set that's available right now, but they've perfected it well, right? So that's what I think they're probably going to try to do, give early successes before they get into it. But I'm going to ask this question to my partner manager as well.
I mean, yeah, I think because we've been hearing this from our customers also, right? Hey, how do we go about it? So, okay, this is fantastic. If AWS could launch, so does that wrap up this week's
Yes,
news?
sure. The last podcast for this year, right? Good updates. Thanks again, Shiva, for doing this. I'll just, first of all, wishing our viewers a very happy new year in advance, right?
Happy New
I
Year.
think 2023 has been one of the most important years for us, for our generation from tech perspective. I would probably speak on that, right? A lot has happened in 1 year, right? And I'm pretty sure a lot will happen in 2024. We are definitely already waiting for a lot of things like GPT-5 to be released, how close we'll get to AGI, right? And so on and so forth, right? So good year, looking forward to 2024. Shiva, any closing thoughts that you have for our
I mean,
viewers?
yeah, 2023 has been a massive year for generative AI. AI has again become the cool kid, right? And we saw crazy amount of funding happening in this space. Some of them did really pay already, like Mistral. everyone raised their eyebrows when they saw $100 million pouring into a UK, Europe-based company, but then we saw what they could do already with the mixtural models. Fantastic year. 2024, my prediction is going to be the year of small language models, like what even Hugging Face is pretty saying about it. I mean, the more and more I speak to enterprise customers, the more and more I feel that their need is not a, a know-it-all GPT-4. They need something more precise, like a Phi 2.7 or a Llama 7B. Or tomorrow Mistral could come up with a small language model, which is like even a 1 billion parameter model. So that's my prediction. Uh, I think the enterprise adoption will be more of a 2025 game. 2024 will still be continue. I mean, will still be more of POCs and prototypes and smaller tools, smaller, I would say, products that companies would build. Enterprises will continue to watch the space with hawk eyes and not really rush into doing things, changing things. And the last big prediction for 2024 is going to be the year of probably agents coming in, not AGI. AGI is many years away. Sam Altman says to 2027. I'm saying it's even later. I don't think it's going to take happen that soon. But agents, I would say, more reliable agents might start coming up in 2024, which is something that we are also building at Lizer as well. And we will keep the community posted on how our experiments go. But yeah, this been, I mean, again, entering into a fantastic year, lot of things to look forward to in 2024. Uh, so my sincere ask to all the viewers, if you are not coding, if you're new to coding, please start coding so that you can start building your own AI apps actually. Uh, so uh, let 2024 be the year when you change your profile to be an AI engineer and AI developer. So yeah, happy New Year again, and thanks for listening to our podcast. And we'll see you next week with more enterprise news in the Gen AI space.
All right, great. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Shiva, and we'll meet next year.
Take care.
All right, bye bye.